Welcome to the Engagement PD series, and today we're going to be talking about Edpuzzle. As I often do, I'm going to start off with a Nearpod session that leads us into taking a look at Edpuzzle. So let's go ahead and share my screen right now. And what you should see in the background is Welcome Edpuzzle. So what exactly is our agenda for today? Our agenda for today is, first of all, to talk about the purpose of it. We're going to look at pre-made videos and creating videos. Also very important to keep in mind that for the district, we have to approve the videos as well in YouTube to make sure that they work when our students go to access them. We're going to create some classes, assign videos, and then, of course, at the end, what do you do with that data? Where do you get it? We will talk about that. So another one of those great tools that does heighten the level of engagement. Let's take a look at this tool. So what is exactly Edpuzzle? Edpuzzle is a free interactive video tool, and it is just absolutely free. Teachers can create their own videos with questions or use pre-made videos with questions. So the other tool that is similar to Edpuzzle is PlayPosit, which we've also talked about. I will tell you the only problem with a free tool like Edpuzzle is that sometimes, especially during this time, when a lot of people are using free tools, it can become a little sluggish. So please keep that in mind when you are using the tool. But let's get right into it and take a look at Edpuzzle. So at this point, you should be seeing the login page or the web page for Edpuzzle. And all you do is go ahead and log in. I will tell you that all you have to do is actually use your Google account, as you can see I'm doing right here. And for this, I'm actually using my Nawaka account, just because I have already created some content within that account that makes it easier to share. When you get into Edpuzzle, you'll see that, okay, here's your home page. I've got some videos that I've already created right here that you can see have been used, but that's all that I have right now. And of course, this is a basic account. We can talk more about that later. You do want to take a look at the left side. Look at the menu on the left. And what I'm circling right now, which is the content section here, you'll notice that it says home, which when we click on that, that's exactly what it is, what we've been looking at. If you click on curriculum, you'll notice that Edpuzzle does offer some pre-made curriculum. And these could be pre-made videos that have questions in them that make them interactive, or they could just be videos that they thought were relevant to the topic areas for a particular building level. So they don't all necessarily have questions automatically embedded within them. We'll go back into this one here in a moment. If your organization, for example, it says Nawaka, if your organization has videos, great. And then, of course, if you have your own content as well, obviously looking very similar to home. Let's go into curriculum again, because this is the curated content that you will see from Edpuzzle. And so if I go in here and I'm thinking, oh, middle school, what do you have in here for middle school? You can sort by date. Obviously, there's a filter right here. They do break it down per subject area, as you see right here. So let's say I want to look at English language arts. What exists pre-made for that? Well, I am currently working on writing. Let's see what's out there for writing. So I click on writing. It's got business writing, narrative and creative writing, and academic writing. We're going to do academic writing. All of a sudden, it seems like it's putting me through the writing process here. So we might as well start with step one, pre-writing. Oh, now it breaks it down into a bunch of different options right here. Well, let's see. I'm actually working on the 5-paragraph essay. I'm curious. Let's take a look at that. So here you can preview it. You can see exactly what's going to be in that video. And if I click play,
Hello, everyone. This is David Taylor, and I am here to talk to you today about this thing right here, the 5-paragraph essay. The 5-paragraph essay goes by a lot of different names.
Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, huh, this is fantastic. It's the best thing ever. Well, great. You can take that, and as you can see right over here on the right-hand side, you can edit that, copy that, assign it, share it. Now, if you copy it, it's going to take it as is and put it into your content area. Now, if you click edit, you can start that process of actually creating your own video, essentially, because you're copying what's here and then adding to it, changing it. You can still trim it, make it the way you want it to be. So what we're going to do at this point is, we could just copy, and if we did copy it, done. It is copied. It's been assigned to my account. I could even assign it. In fact, I could assign it directly from here, as you can tell, but you may want to make your own changes to personalize it just a little bit more to what you want the students to be able to see. But let's say we found this video and we're like, wow, this is fantastic. This is perfect. I want to edit it and just make it my own. So we just clicked on edit, and now all of a sudden we have some options. Now, when you click on edit, the very first thing that you are able to do in Edpuzzle is trim that video. And there are a couple ways to keep in mind when you do want to cut a video. So if you want to cut from the beginning, all that you have to do is grab here at the beginning.
This thing right here.
And slide it over
you're going to know
to where you want it to go. So right now, I have trimmed that much of the video off. I can do the same thing to the end and trim off the end. However, what if you want to be able to trim the video in the middle? In that case, you're going to find your spot anywhere in that video where you want to trim, but you're not going to highlight a section and just delete it. You actually have to add a cut. And that is this button right here. And when you add that cut, it splits that video in two, and then you can just drag to go over that spot that you really didn't want. So that is the process of cutting that video. Now, if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, that's not exactly what I wanted, don't worry, you can undo. You can even reset the entire video and put it back to where you want it. So that is the cutting process. Now, one very cool feature of Edpuzzle is this next tab at the top, and that is the voiceover tab. So when you click on that, you can either do your own voiceover of the entire video. So that person's voice never even talks, even though in this video that'd be kind of strange considering he's standing right there. Or you can just pick sections to talk over. So for example, if I'm right here, I can actually just start recording, and I am currently recording right now over this section. You can see how it's turning red there on the line, and that is the only section that I am recording over. Now, of course, you could do that, by the way, for the entire video. We just did it for a small section. Maybe it's a part that he explains differently than you would rather want him to explain. You can also then listen to it recording. And I am currently recording right now over this section. You can see how it's, and there it is. That's a good way to test it. And if you need to record over your voiceover, you can do that again. So again, nice little feature within Edpuzzle. The last tab here within the Create Videos mode is the Questions tab. This is where you get the options of adding a couple different questions, and there is an interaction of a note as well that you could add, and we'll go through each of these. And this is, again, where you're going to find a difference with Play Pause It. Play Pause It does offer more options, but I will tell you Edpuzzle is rather a good, simple platform as well if you're just getting into this. So we're going to go ahead and say that at we're going to click in our video here at 1 minute, 6 seconds, and I want to add a multiple choice question. All I did was click on multiple choice question, and we can type in our question. So here it is. What is the first paragraph of a 5-paragraph, oopsie daisy, essay called? And here we go with our options. Concluding, introductory, and I want to add another choice, a good one. Obviously, those aren't necessarily the best answers, but there is one there. And when you have found one, of course, that is the correct answer, go ahead and click on that check mark, and that makes that the correct answer. Now, if another one is labeled green, make sure it's X, so we know that that's not the right answer. So you could have actually more than one answer in what you have. And again, if you want to be able to add another answer choice, go ahead and do that down here. And then let me share another great feature of Edpuzzle. If you want to embed a link in this question, you can add a link. If you want to embed a picture for some reason, you can do that. It does have an equation editor. It also has, of course, some formatting options there. What's neat about the answers is you can actually add feedback if that is the option a student has chosen. So if you click on feedback, okay, great. Or no, we don't want to say great on that one. I understand the choice, but is the concluding paragraph the first paragraph? And then this, and then you can flip it back to the question. This one we could say, great work, you were listening. And this one, were you even watching? Okay, maybe that's a little harsh, but you get the point. You can add feedback to these if you would like to add feedback, and then we just go ahead and save. And that is your multiple choice question. And now,
because although something,
we're going to click to another one, and notice we now are showing that we have a question embedded right there in the video. Let's embed another one right here, open-ended. Again, you can see that we have those same options at the top. Do you like the writing process? Now, again, we could add feedback if we'd like to. Otherwise, here it is. This is a saved question. That's what it is. Now, if we want them to, make sure that doesn't start up again. If we want to add a little note to have them stop and think about something within the video, you can also add a note. So we're going to do that. I just clicked on a new spot in the timeline. We're going to click on note. You are almost there. Hang in there and embrace the writing process. And we've got it. And we're going to save that note right there. And you'll notice we now have a note right there. So at this point, we've added our questions. We're good. Okay. And we can continue.
There's a very set formula.
But guess what? At this point, we are thinking we are done. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go up in the upper right. We're going to click finish. And now we have our finished video that we've just created, which is great. Now, the one thing is, when I talk about approving videos, you do want to make sure that the video is approved. And a while ago, I sent out an email that talked about going into YouTube under your domain account and making sure that you go to this video, you look this video up, and you make sure that it says approve. If it doesn't say approve underneath the video you see in YouTube, make sure you click approve. And then it should be able to get through the filtering system okay. All right, we would love to be able to assign this right now, but we don't even have a class yet. So let's go back and let's take a look at classes. So we're actually going to go back to the Edpuzzle homepage. And if you look on the left side here, you again have content, content, content. You even have other channels right here that you can go to find your own video and then do what we just did. But how do we actually create a class? If you go to My Classes, you will see that there's a way to invite students. Now, what's really cool about this is you can actually invite students by just adding your Google Classroom. So, different ways to do that. First of all, class options, let's just do the generic way. If I'm putting in here a class called English 1, 2, 3, and this is not the Google Classroom route, by the way. And here it is. This is my class, English 1, 2, 3. It's great. Here's my code if they want to be able to get in. By the way, why does it say lock classroom down at the bottom? That's because once you have all your students in that class, you know that you've sent out an invite to these students. You don't want students who aren't supposed to be in the class to get in the class. So once they are all in, lock the classroom, no one else is able to get in. But we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to save our class name. And that should save that class name. And sometimes it takes a minute, as you can tell. And maybe we are already saved there, even though I thought it X'd out of there. Let's see if we actually do have English 1, 2, 3. And we do have English 1, 2, 3. Now, different way to do this. If you click on invite students, okay, by the way, and I should show you this first, sorry. Here's the code. Give them this link. If you just give students this link, they will be able to share with their domain email account. So just copy that link, send it to them. And that's if you want to obviously do it again that way. Now, if you want to, with Google Classroom, let's see here, we can click on Add New Class over here on the left. And notice what option it gives you, Google Classroom. I can actually go into my Google Classroom and pick one of the classes that I already have set up here and import that class, which automatically puts the emails in there, automatically puts in the accounts. And then you can actually assign these courses in Google Classroom, or you could assign these assignments of videos in Google Classroom. So real slick right there. Just go over here to Add New Class and you have it. Okay. So group, how do we assign something? At this point, we know how to create a class. We know how to create the video that has the embedded questions. We know where to find the content, but how do we actually assign one of these items? This is how you do it. Let's go back over here to content. And let's say this one that we just created. This is the one we really want to be able to use. And so we're going to click on it. We're going to make sure that's our one with the questions. And as you can see, it's interesting because it does pop up where those questions are when you're looking at it in this preview mode. So you know it's the right one because we've got those questions. Now, what we're going to do is click on Assign off to the right. And look at this. We have these options. You know what? I'm actually going to put that into my Google Classroom. I'm going to assign it there. Now, we do have some options. What's our due date? We know the start date's today, but what's the due date? We're going to make it the 30th. Click on that again. There we go. And there, we got to click Save at the bottom. You can even put time, as you saw at the bottom there. Do you want to prevent skipping? Do you want to turn on closed captioning? Do you want to post on Google Classroom? We do want to post on Google Classroom. We're just going to put it right there, finding the right blend, and we are ready to assign. And that is now assigned. Now, the one thing you do want to do, and the reason it asks you, are you ready to officially post away? Keep in mind, this is now posting on Google Classroom. So if we go to Google Classroom, and I'm going to open up another tab here. I'm going to go into my Google Classroom. I'm going to go on finding the right blend. I'm going to go to classwork. You'll notice there it is, Edpuzzle, the 5-paragraph essay. Now, the only thing is, it's assigned, but you've still got some details that you've got to add here. So if you go to instructions, make sure that you edit some of those details. If you want to add some more instructions, put it under a topic, add a rubric, whatever you want to do, change the number of points. But it's just set up as a link. So if we click on that link, this is what it does. It takes you right there. And if we play it.
5-paragraph essay.
All right, so we have, of course, gotten into the video. Students have clicked on the link. We're a little farther into the video. I'm going to click play, and you'll see what it looks like when that first question comes up. I think.
Memory. And we're going to use that important place and the role it plays in human memory.
Okay. So you heard them there for a little bit. Video started up, and this is what it looks like, again, within Edpuzzle when that question does come up. So remember, we did put some feedback in there. So let's see what it looks like if we do click on an answer. So if I click on that and I submit it, okay, what is the first paragraph of a 5-paragraph essay called? There's my feedback. Now, I can rewatch it and go back, and it might let me do that. You can see it's locking me out of even answering anything else. If I rewatch that segment.
Or sayings like 3 times a charm or 3 strikes you're out. 3 seems to have an important place in human memory. And we're going to use that important place.
And now that multiple choice question will pop up again. And notice, they can rewatch it, but it's all dependent on how you set it up in the settings if they can answer this more than once. At this point, they've already answered it, but at least they'll know exactly what that answer is. So you have to change that in the settings if you want it to be different. Now, after, of course, you are done, and we can continue away, but I'm going to exit out of watching the video there. We're going to go back into the home page here because, again, keep in mind our 3 tabs that we had in the upper right corner. We have content, where we have our own content and everything from curriculum that we can get from Edpuzzle, if our organization has anything, and again, my specific content. We've talked about my classes. We know what's set up there. We have this middle option, which is the grade book. So keep in mind that if you do have that grade book set up, you can select which course. And I believe in finding the right blend, I do actually have some samples where we had people respond to the videos. And if you click in there, you can again take a look at how the person has responded. Do you like dogs? This person hasn't answered yet. This person hasn't answered yet in this particular quiz. If they would have, obviously you'd see some responses there, and you'd see a 2 out of 2 questions answered. And of course, with assigned points, you'd actually see points there as well. Now, of course, those points don't mean anything because even if you put them into Google Classroom, ultimately they go into PowerSchool, and that's where those points make a difference. But it is an easy way to auto-correct these questions, unless, again, it's an open-ended question. Then you will have to go back in and actually assign points to that if you want them to be able to see it through Edpuzzle or even Google Classroom. And if we go back here to the grade book, let's see, this one. Yep, didn't answer that one as well. And I don't think I have one that's answered. I will try one other example here to see. Yep, nope, I don't have any of them answered. So even in Spanish too, nothing is answered. This is the best one to take a look. Of course, if you do want to export any of that data, you can click on Export Gradebook. It'll put it down in a CSV file, which again is an Excel spreadsheet, and then you'll have that data. All right, well, group, that in a nutshell is Edpuzzle. If you do have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call or send me an email, but enjoy this engagement tool. Thank you.